In the vastness of space, a fleet of alien ships hovered over Earth, a spectacle of shimmering metal and blinking lights. Each vessel belonged to the United Coalition, an alliance of species that prided themselves on their advanced technology and military prowess. Among them was Zalur, a weapons expert from the Chian species, known for their sleek armor and devastating energy weapons. He looked down at Earth with a mixture of disdain and curiosity. "What a primitive planet," he scoffed, clicking his mandibles in amusement. What could a species like this possibly have to offer? On the surface, humanity was gearing up for an unprecedented military exercise, a demonstration of strength and cooperation with their new extraterrestrial allies. Private James Callahan, a soldier with a calm demeanor and an unwavering grip on his M4 carbine, felt the weight of the eyes upon him. He stood in the armory, surrounded by alien soldiers who were already laughing at his weapon, as if it were an outdated relic. "You call that a weapon?" Zalur jeered, holding the rifle up to his multi-lensed eyes. "It looks more like a farming tool." The other aliens erupted into laughter, their voices echoing around the chamber. Callahan remained stoic, used to the mockery. He was the new kid on the block, the oddity in a galaxy full of advanced beings. Ignoring their taunts, Callahan spoke calmly. "It's an M4 carbine. Lightweight, reliable, and can fire in semi-automatic or burst modes." His words fell on deaf ears, met with more laughter and disbelief. Commander Threx, a towering figure covered in shimmering scales, stepped forward. "Let's put this debate to rest, shall we? I want to see what your weapon can do." His commanding voice silenced the room, shifting the attention to Callahan. As they moved to the firing range, Callahan felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He could sense the aliens' superiority, their expectations. What did they expect him to prove? Was he here to validate their preconceptions about humanity? The firing range was a vast arena, filled with various targets. The alien soldiers lined up, their energy weapons gleaming in the harsh lights. Callahan took a deep breath, steadying himself. He aimed at the target, a metallic plate designed to withstand high-energy blasts. As he squeezed the trigger, a loud crack echoed through the range. The bullet struck true, a solid impact that sent a shiver through the air. Zalur's amusement faded as he saw the precision of the shot. Impressive, for a primitive weapon, he conceded, though his tone was laced with doubt. Callahan felt a flicker of confidence as he took another shot, the bullet tearing through the target. The aliens watched in stunned silence. Perhaps they were not ready for what humanity had to offer. "All right, let's see how it compares to our plasma rifles," Zalur challenged, clearly not willing to accept defeat. The aliens were too proud, their arrogance blinding them to the truth. Callahan just smiled. As the aliens prepared their energy weapons, Callahan felt a surge of determination. This was not just about proving himself. It was about showcasing humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Proving ground. The alien soldiers gathered, their energy rifles humming with power. Callahan felt the weight of their expectations pressing down on him. The first plasma shot fired from Zalur's weapon lit up the range, incinerating the target in a brilliant flash. The aliens cheered, their laughter returning. "See, your bullets are nothing against the might of plasma," Zalur exclaimed, reveling in the moment. Callahan took a deep breath, centering himself. He needed to show them that strength wasn't just about flashy weapons. It was about strategy, precision, and willpower. "Let me show you something else," he said, adjusting his stance. The aliens fell silent, watching intently as he lined up another shot. He pulled the trigger, and the bullet soared through the air, striking the target once more with pinpoint accuracy. Zalur's confident demeanor wavered for a moment. "It's just luck," he muttered, but Callahan could see the uncertainty in his eyes. "Let's make this interesting," Commander Threx said, his eyes glinting. "I challenge you to a contest. You against our best. Let's see who is superior." The challenge hung in the air, electrifying the atmosphere. Callahan nodded, accepting the challenge. He understood the stakes. This was not just about him. It was about proving that humanity had a place among the stars, that they could hold their own against the might of the coalition. The aliens took their positions, confidence oozing from them. Callahan focused, blocking out the noise. It was just him and the target. As the contest began, the firing range transformed into a battlefield of skill and determination. Each shot fired was a declaration of intent, a statement of humanity's resilience. One by one, the aliens took their turns, firing impressive shots that obliterated their targets. But Callahan remained undeterred. He was not intimidated. He was motivated. With each shot, the gap between them began to close. Callahan's precision began to shine, even as the aliens struggled to maintain their composure. With every round fired, a flicker of respect began to grow in the eyes of the alien soldiers. By the end of the contest, Zeller and the others were left speechless. Callahan had held his own, proving that human determination could match their technology. Not bad for a primitive, Zeller admitted grudgingly, a hint of admiration creeping into his voice. Callahan smiled, knowing they had just taken the first step toward mutual respect. As the exercise continued, Callahan felt a shift in the atmosphere. The laughter had faded, replaced by a growing respect for what humanity could achieve. This was just the beginning, the turning tide. With the military exercise progressing, the atmosphere shifted. The coalition soldiers were beginning to see humanity in a new light. The tension that had once filled the air was replaced with camaraderie and curiosity. During a break, Callahan found himself surrounded by a small group of alien soldiers. They asked questions, eager to learn more about the human experience. Zeller, still skeptical but intrigued, approached Callahan. "Your weapon is effective, but how do you manage the recoil?" "Our plasma rifles have none," he questioned, genuine curiosity replacing mockery. Callahan explained, "It's all about practice and technique. We humans adapt and overcome our limitations." As he spoke, he saw Zeller's attitude shifting, the scales of judgment beginning to tip in favor of humanity. Another soldier, a tall creature with wings that glimmered in the light, chimed in. "And your tactics? Do you really rely on these? Bullets?" The others leaned in, their interest piqued. "Yes," Callahan replied, "but we also rely on teamwork, strategy, and a strong will to win. Those are our true weapons." The aliens listened intently, intrigued by Callahan's perspective. It was clear they were beginning to understand that the strength of humanity lay not only in technology, but also in spirit and ingenuity. Days turned into weeks, and the joint exercises continued. Callahan grew close to the alien soldiers, sharing stories of Earth's history, its struggles and victories. He learned about their cultures, their values, and their own stories of resilience. Zeller began to appreciate Callahan's point of view. The soldiers were no longer just mockers. They were allies in training, working together to learn from each other. As the final day of the exercises approached, Commander Threx announced a grand demonstration of their combined forces. The aliens had prepared an elaborate display of their advanced technology, while Callahan and his fellow humans would showcase their ingenuity in strategy and tactics. The atmosphere was electric. The stakes were high, and both sides were eager to impress. Callahan felt the pressure weighing down on him, but he was ready to rise to the challenge. As the demonstration began, the coalition forces showcased their impressive weapons and technology. Plasma rifles fired in a synchronized display, dazzling the audience. But Callahan knew that this was not just about power, it was about strategy. When it was humanity's turn, Callahan took a deep breath. He led his team, demonstrating the effectiveness of their tactics. They worked in unison, employing strategies that highlighted their adaptability and creativity. The crowd watched in awe as the humans executed their maneuvers flawlessly. Callahan felt a surge of pride. This was humanity's moment to shine, a testament to their resilience. When the demonstration ended, the applause echoed throughout the arena. Callahan's heart swelled with pride, knowing they had not only held their own, but had also gained the respect of their alien counterparts. Rising challenges. As the military exercises concluded, the bond between the humans and the coalition soldiers strengthened. However, lurking beneath the surface was a growing concern. Reports of a hostile alien faction began to circulate, threatening the fragile peace between the species. Commander Threx called an emergency meeting. The room was filled with tension as he outlined the situation. "We have received intelligence of an impending attack from the Xandari, a rogue faction that opposes our alliance with Earth. They see us as a threat to their existence." The room buzzed with concern. Callahan felt a knot tighten in his stomach. They had come so far in building relationships, and now, "Are we prepared for an attack?" one of the alien soldiers asked, his voice filled with urgency. Threx nodded, his expression serious. "We must unite our forces. Humans and coalition allies will need to work together if we are to fend off this threat. Callahan, your experience in tactical planning could be invaluable." Callahan straightened, realizing the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "I'll do whatever it takes," he replied, determination coursing through him. In the following days, preparations for the impending conflict began. The humans and coalition soldiers shared strategies and ideas, combining their strengths to create a solid defense plan. Callahan noticed a change in Zaylor. He had transitioned from mocker to ally, actively participating in discussions and offering insights. "You humans are unpredictable," Zeller remarked during one strategy session, "but that may be your greatest strength." "Exactly," Callahan agreed. "We think outside the box. When faced with challenges, we adapt. That's what sets us apart." As they refined their tactics, news of the Xandari's movements became increasingly alarming. Reports indicated they were massing near Earth, ready to launch an assault that could devastate both human and coalition forces. "We don't have much time," Threx said, his voice steady yet urgent. "We need to finalize our plans and prepare for a defensive strike." Callahan worked tirelessly, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. He coordinated with the coalition, melding human ingenuity with alien technology to create a battle plan that showcased their combined strengths. The day of the attack arrived, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Callahan stood on the command ship, overseeing the fleet as they prepared to engage the enemy. He watched as alien ships and human crafts formed a united front, ready to face the unknown. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Xandari fleet had been spotted on the scanners, approaching fast. Callahan's heart raced. This was the moment they had been preparing for, but the reality of battle was far more intense than he had imagined. "All units, prepare for engagement," Threx commanded, his voice resonating throughout the ship. Callahan gripped the armrest of his seat, his mind racing. He felt the adrenaline surge through him as they entered combat. The battle commenced, an explosion of colors and chaos as laser blasts and projectiles flew through the air. The clash of titans. The battle unfolded before Callahan's eyes, a chaotic ballet of destruction. Alien ships darted through the skies, their agility contrasting sharply with the humans' more grounded approach. The Xandari fleet, a monstrous force, surged forward, their weapons blazing with lethal intent. "Stay focused," Callahan shouted to his team, relaying commands to coordinate their movements. "We need to hold the line." As they engaged the enemy, Callahan saw the power of their combined forces at work. Plasma blasts from the alien ships intertwined with human projectile fire, creating a symphony of destruction. But the Xandari were relentless, their ships weaving through the fire, launching counterattacks. Callahan's heart pounded as he observed the chaos. The coalition forces fought valiantly, but the Xandari's sheer numbers were overwhelming. He felt the pressure mounting, a tightness in his chest as he watched his allies struggle to keep the line. "Human forces, flank right," Ziller called out, his voice booming through the comms. Callahan took a deep breath, trusting in the strategy they had devised together. "Moving to flank," Callahan replied, guiding his unit into position. They unleashed a volley of gunfire, targeting the advancing Xandari ships. The result was instantaneous. Several enemy crafts exploded in bursts of flames and debris. But just as they gained momentum, the Xandari retaliated. A barrage of missiles rocketed toward them, and Callahan's heart dropped, braced for impact. He yelled, feeling the jolt as the missiles struck nearby, shaking their ship violently. Amid the chaos, Callahan caught sight of Zeller's ship struggling against an onslaught. Without thinking, he activated the comms. "Zeller, I'm coming to help. We can hold our own human." Zeller replied, his pride evident even amidst the chaos. "Not alone you can't." Callahan shot back, determination fueling his words. He piloted his craft towards Zeller's ship, the two working in tandem to fend off the approaching Xandari forces. Together, they unleashed a barrage of fire, forming a protective wall against the missiles. As the two ships battled side by side, Callahan realized that they were no longer just allies. They were a united front, a powerful coalition standing against a common enemy. "Nice shooting, Callahan," Zeller shouted, his respect for the human growing with every maneuver. With their combined efforts, they managed to push back the Xandari forces, but the battle was far from over. Callahan could see the Xandari leader's ship looming in the distance, a massive structure that exuded malice. "We need to take out their flagship," Threx ordered, his voice steady amidst the chaos. "It's coordinating the attack. If we destroy it, the rest will fall." Callahan nodded, adrenaline surging through him. "Let's finish this." The final stand. As the battle raged on, Callahan and Zeller led the charge toward the Xandari flagship, their hearts pounding with determination. They navigated through the chaos, dodging enemy fire while returning it with precision and fury. "Focus all fire on that flagship," Callahan commanded, rallying their forces. The coalition soldiers responded, their resolve strengthened by their shared experiences. They unleashed a torrent of energy blasts and gunfire toward the enormous ship, determined to end the threat once and for all. But the Xandari flagship was heavily fortified, its defenses blaring as the coalition's firepower struck against it. Callahan gritted his teeth, feeling the pressure mounting as the Xandari retaliated with a devastating barrage of missiles. The explosions shook their ships, but they pressed on, refusing to back down. "We can't give up," Zeller shouted, rallying his fellow soldiers. "For our home, for our alliance." Fueled by the fire of determination, Callahan led the charge, dodging incoming fire and coordinating attacks. The combined forces of humanity and the coalition pressed forward, their spirits unyielding in the face of adversity. As they drew closer to the flagship, Callahan spotted a weakness in its defense, an unprotected reactor vent. He knew this was their chance. "Aim for the reactor vent. That's our only shot," he yelled, rallying the troops. The coalition forces focused their fire on the exposed vent, the concentrated shots finding their mark. The flagship trembled, a deep rumble echoing through the battlefield as the reactor began to destabilize. "Now, push forward," Callahan commanded, leading the charge into the heart of the enemy forces. With a final surge of firepower, the coalition forces struck the reactor with everything they had. The flagship erupted in a blinding explosion, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. For a moment, time seemed to freeze as the sight of the exploding ship filled the air with brilliance. Then, the ripple of the explosion spread out, causing the surrounding Xandari ships to falter and panic. "Yes, we did it," Zeller cheered, a mix of disbelief and elation in his voice. As the remaining Xandari ships began to retreat, the coalition forces erupted in cheers. They had achieved the impossible, standing united against a formidable enemy and emerging victorious. Callahan felt a rush of relief wash over him. They had fought for their lives, for their alliance, and now they had secured a future together. A new dawn. In the aftermath of the battle, the atmosphere shifted once again. The coalition forces celebrated their hard-fought victory, the once resentful laughter of the aliens now replaced with camaraderie and respect. Callahan stood amidst his fellow soldiers, the realization of their achievements washing over him. They had proven themselves, not just as individuals, but as a united front. Zealer approached him, a genuine smile on his face. "You humans have surprised us. Your tenacity and creativity are remarkable. I no longer see you as primitive." Callahan chuckled, the tension from earlier dissipating. "Thanks, Zeller. I think we've shown what we're capable of when we work together." The camaraderie fostered during the battle had transformed into lasting friendships. Callahan felt a sense of belonging among the coalition, a bond forged through shared struggles and triumphs. As the coalition leaders gathered to discuss the future, Callahan found himself at the center of the conversation. They talked about how to strengthen their alliance, ensuring that they would be ready for any future threats together. "Humanity has proven itself a valuable ally," Commander Threx declared. "We must create a pact that ensures our cooperation continues. Together, we can face whatever challenges the universe throws our way." Callahan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "We may be different, but our strengths complement each other. We can achieve more together than apart." The coalition leaders agreed, and discussions began on forming a formal alliance, one that would pave the way for collaboration and mutual protection against future threats. As the sun set over the battlefield, Callahan looked out at the horizon, a sense of hope igniting within him. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity had found its place among the stars. They were no longer just a primitive race, but a vital part of a coalition ready to face whatever came next. And as